welcome everybody to the women-led panel on power, purpose, and profit. I'm Katie Hilborn. I'm an 8 times award-winning humanitarian, and I work at the intersection of philanthropy, regenerative systems, and capital. I'm very honored to be leading this panel. Today's conversation is about women who are not simply succeeding within existing systems, but actively redesigning them. This panel brings together extraordinary women across royalty, investment, public relations, media, culture, family office leadership, and frontier innovation. Her Royal Majesty Queen Diambi Kabatusulia, she is a traditional monarch of the Bakwa Lunta people of the Democratic Republic of Congo. She brings a rare blend of ancestral leadership, psychology, humanitarian vision, and global advocacy, inviting the world to reimagine power through wisdom and cultural continuation. In 90 seconds, please answer, how does ancestral wisdom reshape our modern understanding of power? And what are we missing when we ignore it?
Thank you very much for asking this question. Thank you, Anthony, and the whole team for inviting me again to this amazing summit that you always do several times a year. I've been coming for many, many years, and I celebrate you and your work, you and your family and your entire team, so thank you. Being a traditional leader today, traditional queen, has posed enormous challenge at the beginning because I've been queen now almost for 10 years, and people were wondering what was the relevance of my position in a world that is full of White Houses and presidents and all these very famous and very powerful people with huge armies and huge budgets behind them. And what would be my place in a world like that? So of course, the main thing is to put the people in the middle of it. It's to put the people in front of it. So leadership is not about the person necessarily, it's about what the person can do for others. So the Bakwa Luntu people live in the forest. They are simple people, they live very simple lives. They have certain needs and certain things that can be improved. So my job is to do all I can to help improve their life. So they are at the center of everything I do. But that means to go towards the world to make them realize that we are super interconnected, and the well-being of my people depend on many decisions that are being taken in rooms like these. And so we have to be aware of the decisions we make and the choices we make that are impacting others, because those choices, although they're impacting others, eventually will come back and circle back and impact us as well.
I love that, and we often call that in the business world servant leadership, being of service and putting the people in the center of power. It's a beautiful model. Thank you very much. Next, we have Kylie Fox. She is the founding partner and a seasoned investment professional with more than 20 years of experience. She has led over 30 hotel transactions and executed more than $250 billion in transactions across debt and equity. In 90 seconds, please answer, what separates capital that extracts from capital that creates lasting value?
Well, thank you again as well for the conference, and thank you for your moderation. It's a great question because it can go both ways, and it can barbell whether it's too little capital or too much capital or over-leveraged companies and all the rest of it. So definitely, extracting value out of companies usually is because people are trying to de-risk. So they take out equity, they over-leverage it, which means that they can create a problem for the underlying company that had more value. The other side of it could be overcapitalization, where you lose that sort of tension of discipline and investing. On our side, our ethos is definitely with capital that creates, and it's also our tagline. So thank you for that. Also, our company is 0 to 1 investments. And 0 to 1 is the theory. Peter Thiel wrote a book about it, but it's basically 0 to 1 is basically the origin of creation, and then you build it from there. And so what we're doing with our platform, we've invested across many different sectors. Currently, it's around hospitality, where we're looking to achieve a platform of legacy assets and growing the brand and the operational value, as well as the underlying intrinsic value of the properties. So we're investing across Western Europe with a particular focus of creating, a place where it's a sanctuary for people to come, both at a high level of performance, but also for restorative and wellness. And we take the time to restore amazing architecture. We hire amazing people to build that community and membership programs so people can have amazing experiences and be able to have them for the rest of their time. And then in the end, we'll have a legacy of amazing portfolio of assets across Western Europe. So we sort of feel very grateful that we have this opportunity to build out this platform and be able to sort of take part of bringing back people to the countryside, to nature essentially, but still have all the services and resources that they'll enjoy in a sustainable way, of course. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you, Kylie. And next we have Elaine Hyde. She is a Blue Origin astronaut. That used to be my childhood dream, so congratulations. Founder of the XPLR VC Fund and publisher of Chicago Star Media, also my hometown.
Yay. That's great. We should get together.
Working across space, emerging technology, and media, she brings a unique perspective on innovation and human potential. In 90 seconds, how has your journey across space and innovation changed the way you think about risk and responsibility?
So, I know there's at least one person here who wants to go to space. Anyone else? All right, let's go. Now, to answer the question about risk and responsibility, perhaps I am the most extreme risk taker and the most irresponsible. But the thing is, so whoever raised their hands, you guys are in that boat too. But the wonderful thing about having peak experiences like this, and I think a lot of women, do adventurous things, it's because it sparks the sense of wow and wonder in you. And when your brain is alight with that fire, you can think more clearly, you can make decisions faster. And I think everybody who went to space, more broadly speaking, comes back with that they are changed and that they see things more clearly. They have a different perspective. And I'm so grateful to have had this experience. It's like a gift that I was very lucky to get. And then if lightning strikes twice, my husband also went up. And so I really hope that, human space flight is something everyone can, all of you who put up your hands can enjoy because it will unlock your potential.
Well, that's awesome. And I thought my snowboarding was adventurous, but you've taken the cake. That's great. Next, we have Her Royal Highness Mei Louis. She is an actress, director, philanthropist, investor, and founder of Superstar Art Foundation. And she serves through the Royal Family Louis Holdings. Her work bridges culture, storytelling, and capital on a global scale. In 90 seconds, what's the mission of Superstar Art Foundation, and what makes you become a filmmaker?
Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity on the stage and share with my story. I come from as a background of an investment banker. I was working in Hong Kong as an investment banker, helped with the IPO and the financing deals for 10 years. And during that time, I've been in touch with many investors, the family office, and also I had a chance to participate in a financing deal of a big budget Hollywood film project, which is The Revenant and Escape Plan 2. That time I was helping with them to connect with some of the Chinese investors and the potential partners. Although we didn't make that deal happen, but it's very good experience, and that triggers my inner passion to art and film. And through that, I see my experience of participating in all those films. I think the film can create more influence to more people through the storytelling. And ever since the COVID starts, I kind of shifted my career, and because my family moved back to US, and that time COVID starts. And I just think as a filmmaker, a producer, I need to do something to help with the situation. And I see a lot of tragic things happened. So that triggered me to become a director, turn from the financer to be the actual artist, to creator of the story. And my first directing movie is Lost in 24. And that is about human trafficking. Before I made the movie, I've done a lot of research that every year is 8 million people that are missing, and which this report is official, but nobody's given enough awareness about it. And I think I need to do something about it, and that's why I made my first movie. I wasn't given much hope become as a director at the beginning, so I just submitted to the film festival, and to my surprise, I won the first actress award that was given by the Rome Movie Award. So that was kind of gave me great encouragement. I said, I need to keep this going on. And I found the meaning of my life of being as a filmmaker. So it's not about how much money you make, but it's like an achievement that you can actually give the voice to those people who couldn't. And I just found the fact that after I made this movie, I see in many airports, which I had a chance to visit to Bahamas, and they put a sign like, mind human trafficking. And now seeing everywhere. I think that's a great change that I bring to this society through the filmmaking. And speaking about the mission of the Superstar Art Foundation, this is a nonprofit organization registered in Texas. That is 501c3 nonprofit organization. So the mission of Superstar Art Foundation is to help artists. I think that artists is very important in the human civilizations. And we need to give support to them. As far as I know, many artists are living very bad situation. It's very hard for them to get funded, so I just wanted to set this foundation to provide like economic help, financial support, give them job opportunities. That's what we have in the program, Miss Economic World, Superstar Academy, and also we have the Superstar Award programs to give the honor and to acknowledge their achievement for their outstanding performance, and also give back to the community. And yeah, we've been doing this for 6 years. Thank you.
Oh, it's really wonderful to hear, and we have a few things in common. Through my chair during the Nepal earthquakes, I took down a child trafficking ring led by politicians. We went undercover, so I would definitely like to speak with you more on that later. Yeah. And next we have Miss Rosemary Sagar. She is the Principal and Chief Investment Officer of Sagar Family Office, with decades of experience across international equities, private funds, and multi-generational wealth strategy. In 90 seconds, how should family offices evolve to remain relevant for the next generation?
Well, in my strong opinion, flexibility really gives you the foundation for success and endurance. So, in other words, don't try and hammer a square peg into a round hole. It's not going to work. And all you're going to get is mediocrity. You have to inspire the next generation to follow their strengths and then provide their angle and their interpretation of the broader mission of the family office, and make it their own. Because it's only if you take ownership, you're really going to take responsibility and try and take it to the next level. So that's a bit of parenting thrown in there. A lot of traditional parenting is, focus on your weaknesses to make them better so that you're a more rounded person. I said, well, go with your strengths and make them outstanding, and then contribute. And so that's
Yes.
that's my view.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like, in the impact space, there's 3 layers of impact, and the first layer is working on yourself, right? And that's what you said, start with your strengths, start with yourself, and then only when we change ourselves can we change the world. And so I completely align with that. Thanks, Rosemary. And next we have Victoria Kennedy. She is a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, TEDx speaker, and CEO of Victorious PR, an award-winning multi-million-dollar agency helping leaders become the #1 authority in their niche through top-tier press and podcast visibility. In 90 seconds, how is influence changing today, and what separates real authority from visibility alone?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, a lot of people think of PR and they think, I need to be out there. I need to be in magazines and visibility. Of course, I can help you with that. But what I always tell people is, yes, but what are you giving? Aha, it's not just about being in the spotlight. It's about what story are you sharing? What thought leadership are you providing to others? In this day and age, it's not just about being on a magazine. It's about what are you contributing to society? And I look around and I see so many wonderful people with gifts to share to others. And you may think, what could I possibly do? I'm just good at business. Well, you can tithe, you could do that. You can give to your favorite charity. There's so many things that you can do. And when I talk about thought leadership, I mean, you all have LinkedIn accounts. Why aren't you posting on it more regularly? Giving that advice to your audience to showcase that you are truly a thought leader. This is why you're an expert in your space. This is why people can go to you and say, yes, I'm getting real value out of this person. This is how you differentiate yourself from everyone else in your field, because you're not afraid to put yourself out there and be a leader, give the value, give the lessons that you have learned through all of these years in business. People are hungry for that. They're hungry for humanity. Give that to them. It doesn't even have to be posts. It can be videos. It can be wonderful conferences like this where you're putting yourself out there. But the more we connect with others, the more that we share our gifts. Just today, I sang the national anthem. I don't know if any of you were in the room when I did that. It's just a gift of singing that I love to share with others as in addition to the PR. But whatever it is, it makes you special. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because that is how you're going to separate yourself from the pack. And that is how you're going to give to the world, which is what we need now more than ever.
Wonderful. Wonderful, thank you. Thank you, and thank you for sharing your gift for all of us. Next, we have Liana Szabo. She's the founder of Szabo Ventures, the investment arm of Szabo Media PR Group, focused on bridging public relations and investor relations for female founders across global markets. In 90 seconds, how does narrative shape access to capital and credibility?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm Liana Szabo, and I love this opening. So we all are capable of so much. I consider all of us bees here. And bees are aerodynamically and scientifically, if you think about it, they're not supposed to fly because the body is too big, the wings are too small. And I always say that your narrative is as big as how you think about it. If you are strong about your story, if you're strong, just like as the bee is, the bee flies around not thinking they can't fly because the body is too big and the wings are too small, and how can they carry it? They actually carry our ecosystem. And so I compare your narrative and your visibility to that type of brash, brazen, and being bold. And so when it comes to building that trust, your visibility plus your credibility equals your profitability. And so I'm in the space of investment relations, public relations as well, and I can relate to everything that Victoria has said. And I take it a little bit notch up, and I support female-led tech startups. And so I'm very mission-driven, and so for me, it's important that I empower women to tell their stories and not be afraid to take that chance on themselves and get more funding and capital. And so I'm bridging the gap between PR and funding. The more you can put yourself on a pedestal, the more you have a strong investor narrative, the more capital and funding you will receive. That's why I'm disrupting the 2% of funding that goes to women. And my goal is to create that VC PR hybrid approach so that I can help 1 million women in the next future.
That's great, and it's also, really important. Female founders receive less than 2% of capital investment, which is shocking to me. So I'm glad we have an advocate and a champion like you in our corner, and I can see why Richie wants us to connect. So, thank you. Good, yeah. And next we have Ceatrice Foster. She is a real estate developer, investor, and capital strategist with more than 20 years of experience and over $500 million in transactions. She's the founder and chief investment officer of Avalia Capital Partners, a real estate investment fund focused on distressed luxury hotels and Class A office opportunities, and the founder of Trinity Capital Development, a global direct lending platform. She also deploys capital through her family office and serves on the board of directors for Belrose Capital, a public company focused on scaling media and technology platforms. In 90 seconds, what are you seeing in the market right now that others may be underestimating?
Us. We're underestimating women
Yeah.
in our marketplace. I still see ignored calls, you know. I still see opportunities for investors missed because who's presenting it? I just want to give just honor to this panel. A queen, an astronaut, you know, everyone's leading in their space. And I think it's a testament of when we are in our respective fields, the value of what we see strategically, how to not just be transactional. And that's basically what I see missed in our marketplace. I was going to talk about office buildings and the opportunities missed there because they are. But, you know, deeply, if you are an investor or if you're looking for an operator or anything, right now, basically what you said, less than 2%, this is a major problem. And if we want to see real change in this world, we're going to have to be comfortable with diversity in leadership and trust in where we trust our capital.
Yeah, beautiful, beautifully said, thank you. And now I'll go a little out of order for this next one. Let's start with Your Highness, Mei Louis. In 90 seconds, tell me more about your family background and your family office fund.
Thank you. So maybe some of you know, my surname is Liu, which is one of the oldest family in China history. That I'm the 73rd generation from the royal family Liu Biang, who founded the empire of the Han Dynasty back in 2,000 years ago. And that is the longest empires that he led in history that ruled China for almost 500 years. So this is a very great cultural icon and cultural identity built in China history, the cultural history, the legacy that he built, more than just the empire itself. I think as a descendant of that family, I feel proud of it, and I wanted to carry on this legacy. And that's how I set up the family fund, the Royal Family Liu Holdings, and to continue the legacy. So the purpose of this funding is trying to continue the legacy. We're going to do the two categories. One is for the investment returns, and another is for nonprofit, because it's more for the family culture mission. So this funding structure of the Royal Family Liu is in the holding company position. So we mainly focus on the M&A deals and also portfolio investment. A third of it are going to be putting into the nonprofit. So we are actually setting up in the development stage of a museum programs, which is called the Royal Han Palace. So this is to build a house that to carry on these legacies and to demonstrate our culture. I think this is going to be iconic buildings that can continue my family storage, but also that people remember the Han culture in the history. Yeah.
Great, wonderful. That's a great way to build on that legacy. That's beautiful. Kylie Fox, in 90 seconds, where should capital be flowing right now if we care about both return and resilience?
I mean, you can put capital like that in many different geographies. Are you talking about a geography or a sector?
Either one you choose.
Okay. Well, look, I think there's a lot of technology out there that's very interesting. I'm not really one to talk about it as I don't have the experience. So what I have done is more on like the corporate and real estate side. Us personally, I'll just talk from my own sort of investment, is that we like Western Europe right now. There's a certain level of stability and lack of volatility and sort of understanding the direction of what the policies are. I've also lived abroad, so I'm very accustomed to doing work in Europe. But we also find from an asset acquisition point of view that is very interesting because you have a change in the generations from the old generation and the baby boomers to millennial and Gen Z. You have people who are asset heavy and people who are asset light in terms of the new generation. And also people who don't want to take on operational risk. And then a lot of the real estate requires quite a bit of investment. So if you have liquidity, it's a great place to go because you can buy at very good valuations. You can really do a lot with those properties in terms of transforming them. So it's very rewarding as well doing it. And then on top of it, because Europe is still a very well trodden place, you can generate the kind of returns that you're looking for. They have EU grants as well, so if you're on the sustainability or you're investing in certain sectors, you can get back close to 50% of your equity investment. So all in all, it actually generates amazing returns, it's rewarding the work, and it's a good, stable, geography that you can transact and build something in.
Yeah, thank you for that. And to piggyback off that, Rosemary, in 90 seconds, what do the best long-term investors understand that short-term systems often miss?
You really have to distinguish between the short cycle and the long cycle. And if you focus just on the short cycle and listen to Wall Street strategists and whatever, in your portfolio, you might be just rearranging the deck chairs on the deck of the Titanic, because if you looked at the long-term assumptions, and we went through 40 years of interest rates declining. There were 10 years of zero interest rates where real rates were negative, and there was absolutely no reason to own any fixed income. But, so those are all the assumptions for allocating to asset classes, and you've got to update those based on what the long-term assumptions are. So I think right now there are a few warning signals in terms of looking at the broad valuation measures. Right now, the stock market is valued at 220% of GDP. At the peak of the dot-com bubble, that number was 135%. And at that time, the private markets were small. Now they're huge. So, and a lot of that value is supported by leverage. Debt is at an all-time high. Debt of all kinds, whether you're looking at sovereign debt or corporate debt or consumer debt, credit card debt. It's a grim picture across the board.
Thank you, Rosemary. And to continue on that thread, Elaine, in 90 seconds, what frontier deserves more attention and capital than it is currently receiving?
Well, obviously, I'm going to have to talk about the final frontier, which is space, and within the Blue Origin ecosystem. We have a WhatsApp chat with only flown astronauts. And on this chat, obviously, we want to know what everyone is doing. So I'll highlight some of the amazing research that's coming out of that. Gary Lai, who is the architect of the New Shepard rocket on which I flew, he's designing moon mining diggers. And he explained to me not long ago, last month at a party, how he's going to shake the helium-3 out of the moon's soil. And the moon's soil has so much helium-3, which is very rare on Earth. And what we need helium-3 for is quantum computing, because it cools down the processes. And that is also an area where lots of money has gone into, which is quantum computing. And then so he's betting on that taking off. Again, the engineer who designed the groundbreaking engine that is reusable, the first one to achieve reusability, his name's Glenn Case. He is now designing a set of, because of the climate politically, he's designing a set of defense drone engines that are 23% more efficient than the current drone engines to address the national security issues of the United States. And on a broader front, obviously we've heard a lot of healthcare things, but I wrote this person's name on my hand. His name is Demis Hassabis, and you might know him as the Google DeepMind founder. And what he's done very recently is win the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2024. The relevance of this is that it has opened up the protein folding. It has solved the 50-year-old protein folding problem that has been unsolvable for 50 years. And it has only been, since 2024 that scientists have had access to this AI-assisted technology to fold proteins to make life-saving medicines. So imagine in the next 20 years, that's going to save a lot of lives and cure a lot of diseases.
Wow, that's really fascinating. Moon mining. Wow, I can't wait to see that. Thank you for that. Queen Diambi, in 90 seconds, what system is most ready to be redesigned over the next decade?
I think it's the narrative about who we are. Earlier you mentioned about the heritage and what can that do, bringing the tradition back. I think we have really worked a lot on intelligence, and here today we spoke a lot about artificial intelligence, and we thought intelligence would actually bring a lot of solutions. But intelligence without wisdom actually can bring resemblance of solutions that will become themselves enormous problem down the line. And oftentimes we are afraid of asking the right question because it's uncomfortable to ask questions. But wisdom requires us to ask the questions. Yes, I hear a lot of amazing people and all deserve to, commendment for all the hard work they are doing and advancing in science and in technology and in different domains. However, there's one domain it seems like we get stuck. It's the domain of not understanding that whatever we do is actually impacting a system that is collapsing right now. So you can measure your success in terms of return on investment, in millions, billions, and so forth. But if it is in a system that itself is unsustainable, because running after these return on investment is the one is driving the system down, is the one that's causing the pain. So why I bring my voice to the table is to say wisdom requires us to look back, to also ask to people who have alternative thinking, to also contribute to building the solutions. And not only think that only those who seem to be the successful today, the successful people today, are the ones to bring all the solutions. Because most likely, they will not even be there. And most likely, the way we live in those systems that are extremely anxiogenic are destroying the ability to reach that very objective of wellness, health, well-being. So to integrate other ways, alternative ways, is for me very important. And that's why the voice for me of Africa needs to be heard. It's after all our mother continent. We've lived there more than 80% of our human existence. We've lived only on that continent. We have accumulated a huge body of knowledge, and that needs to be brought into the place when we discuss, when we invent, when we create, because there are in all of that human experience enormous wisdom that needs to be reconciled with intelligence in order for us to be able to deliver actual solutions that work, not just for the mighty few, intelligent, rich ones, European one, Western one, but for the planet as a whole. The life, promoting life, is the era of return on investment that should be the number one return on investment everyone is looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, so wisdom. I really resonate with that, and I also recognize that the systems are collapsing. I've been saying this all year that whether you like it or not, we're almost going through a computer defrag because maybe you agree or not, but historically we've been building systems upon systems upon systems, and it's like corroded file, and once the files are corroded, the computer slows down, and so they are collapsing. And to her point is wisdom should be at the center of it, and what are we building in its place? So I completely resonate with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Victoria, in 90 seconds, how do women need to position themselves differently to lead in the next era of influence?
Thank you. You know, ladies, we can just do things. I'll just say that. We don't need permission. We can just do things. We don't even need to wait for the money. Just go and do it. Okay, I started my business 6 years ago. I'm an opera singer, as you all know and heard this morning. So I knew nothing about PR. Well, I thought I didn't. But I decided when I moved back to America that I was just going to start my business and do PR because I was good at getting myself in magazines for my opera singing, so why not try it for others? In my first year, no funding, I made $1 million. And we've been going on ever since, doing pretty well. Why do I say this? I say this because I didn't need permission and I didn't need no man's money, I'll tell you that. So ladies, if you're waiting for someone to come save you, save yourselves, ladies. If you're waiting for someone to come give you money, you have money. In this day and age, there is AI, there is Grok, that's $20 a month, okay? You can do whatever it is that you want to do now, and don't be afraid to try. You may fail 20 times. It's okay, just start a new business. We literally have AI, it's so easy. You don't need all of these big testing or market groups anymore. You have something in your pocket that you can easily just test. You have a group on Facebook, you have LinkedIn, you have X. Try it out on different audiences. Test to see, is this gonna work? Is this gonna resonate with people? Do people want a program? Do they want more of my services? Try it out. Don't just sit there and think, well, no one's giving me any money or investing in me. Invest in yourself. That's why you're here. So I'm here to give you permission because I know we still need it and I don't know why we do, but we do. Here's my permission to you. Go out there, make a lot of money, and change the world, ladies. It's 2026. The world needs your voices. We need to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Liana, in 90 seconds, how does perception influence valuation, access, and trust?
Thank you for that. So perception doesn't just influence assets, valuation, and trust, it drives them. To strip it all down, investors, markets, and even partners, before making the hard decisions that they're making, they're looking at you. They want to believe what they see, but they're also going to verify you. And so that verification comes from your narrative. Valuation is not just math, it's your narrative. And if two companies have similar numbers, but with the strongest perception is the feeling, do I feel that this founder is a category leader? Is this a scalable company? So when they come to me as a PR executive and as an investor, I look at two things. Is it scalable? And are you a category leader? And do you have that visibility and the credibility? And that stems into the next one, which is investors don't put a price on who you are. Investors put a price on what you will become, which is your founder story, your visibility, your media presence. And I can't stress it enough because I'm bridging the gap between investor relations, and public relations. It is crucial to understand that if you don't have a story, you are not going to be at the higher scale. We are not going to take a look at that because emotional connection is what's going to drive numbers. We want to be emotionally connected to your story. It goes back to having similar numbers to someone else. How do you differentiate yourself in the crowded marketplace? It all comes down to how do you make us feel? Are you standing out as a category leader? Are you there actually speaking about your story? Does it resonate with us? And are you being credible, right? Your credibility stems from your brand awareness, positioning. And so if you have amazing perception, that leads into premium feeling, and we want to evoke those emotions.
Yeah, thank you. Stories sell, right? It pulls us in because we can relate to it through metaphor, and beautifully said. Thank you. And now our last panelist of the day, Ceatrice, what advantage do women bring to capital structures that has historically been underestimated?
Our nurturing nature. We have the ability to nurture. We garden. We nurture children. But the beauty of our DNA is that when we are presented with a task or an obstacle, we consider every aspect of it. I can use myself an example. In a deal, I don't look at a deal when it's presented to me as just a transaction. I look at it and how can I maximize this to not just do this one deal? How can we build a long-term relationship? I don't want to just fund this. What is your 5-year plan? How can I answer the next question and the next need? If someone comes to me for seed capital, that's fine. But what is the plan when you need the next round and our market looks different? How is that, where is that going to leave our investors? So typically when I approach an opportunity, I want to see the big picture. What is your end result? I want to be your first answer. I want to be your second answer. And I want to be your last answer. And in that, I'm protecting everyone involved in that deal. Myself, my capital, your idea, your vision. And typically, I'm only investing in things that are impactful. So the people that you're going to change with this investment and this opportunity. So I attribute that to the nurturing nature that I have. And I've seen that in other women I've worked with when they've brought me opportunities as well.
Wonderful, thank you. And unfortunately, this panel is finished. Let's give a big round of applause to our beautiful panelists. Go ahead and stand up. Thank you, ladies, so much.